Israel's Philadelphi Corridor gamble takes a dangerous turn. With the recent death of 6 hostages in Rafah, Tel Aviv has erupted in protests demanding a hostage deal. And Philadelphi Corridor remains crucial for the deal to materialize. But Netanyahu refuses to demilitarize the corridor. Israel's control of the corridor will stop Hamas from rearming. Philadelphi Corridor thus vital to Israel's strategy. Hamas has been controlling the border along which runs the Philadelphi Corridor since 2007. The border is key ingredient in building Hamas's arsenal strength. Hamas is thus demanding to control the border with Egypt. Philadelphi Corridor became battleground everyone wants to control. On 30th May, in a major turn of event, Israel celebrated a military triumph that seemed destined to bolster its security. Taking control of the Philadelphi Corridor, a narrow strip of land separating Gaza from Egypt. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailed the operation as a crucial blow to Hamas, cutting off militants' vital supply routes. But now this so-called victory has sparked outrage across Israel, and Netanyahu finds himself facing a word that Israelis had once reserved for their enemies, and that is murderer. It is scrawled on protest signs, shouted in the streets, and echoed in every corner of social media. The anger stems from an incident that has left the nation shaken to its core. On August 31st, Israeli military uncovered the bodies of 6 hostages deep within a tunnel in Rafah. Now, these hostages were among the approximately 250 people abducted during Hamas's brutal October 7 attack on Israeli communities. As per reports, they were found shot at close range, executed just hours before Israeli forces arrived. Now, the news hit Israel like a shockwave, with pressure growing on Israeli PM Netanyahu. Now, this brings us to some crucial questions. Is Israel's control of the Philadelphi Corridor worth the cost of human lives? Will Netanyahu's firm stance jeopardize any chances of a ceasefire? Now, how long can Israel hold on to the corridor without facing greater repercussions? Hostage deaths could pile pressure on Netanyahu to agree to a ceasefire. Why is the Philadelphi Corridor a crucial precondition for Hamas in any negotiation or deal? Now, the 6 hostages were likely killed by Hamas after another captive, Qaid Farhan al-Qadi, was found alive. Now, did al-Qadi's rescue lead Hamas to kill the other 6 hostages, lest the IDF succeeded in rescuing them alive? Now, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Mossad Director David Barnea, and the entire IDF High Command suggested Netanyahu cut a deal to return between 18 to 30 live hostages of the 50 or so alive. Gallant, Barnea, and the IDF believed Hamas likely would have been ready to cut a deal if Netanyahu accepted a full withdrawal from the Philadelphi Corridor. But the Israeli Prime Minister refuses to budge, vowing instead to settle score with Hamas. Autopsies reveal the grim details. These captives had been held for weeks, only to be slaughtered in the final hours of their captivity. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant didn't mince words when he confronted Netanyahu over the incident. He accused the Prime Minister of valuing control over the Philadelphi Corridor more than the lives of Israeli hostages. Now, Netanyahu remains unyielding. In his eyes, the Philadelphi Corridor is more than just a strip of land. For him, it is a bulwark against the smuggling tunnels that feed Hamas's war machine. We cannot afford to retreat, Netanyahu insisted, even as the outcry over the hostage deaths grew louder. Now here it is important to note that reports suggest that Netanyahu's stance has complicated peace negotiations. Remember, Egypt and Hamas both refuse to consider a ceasefire unless Israel relinquishes control of the corridor. The corridor has become the very thing blocking progress on the hostage deal. Now, the takeover of the Philadelphi Corridor is a strategic turning point in the campaign in Gaza. It can be said without exaggeration that the Philadelphi Corridor was Hamas's strategic depth, city of refuge, and granary all at the same time. It was a central anchor for everything within Hamas administration in the Gaza Strip. As long as it was active, the Philadelphi Corridor and the area adjacent to it would function as Hamas's city of refuge. But now the faucet is turned off. In short, Israel's occupation of the corridor has far-reaching implications for Hamas's survival. Now, amid this turmoil, one question looms large. Where does Israel go from here? The divide between Netanyahu and his critics grows wider each day. Reports suggest that inside his own government, cracks are forming. The Israeli defense establishment is reportedly split, with some military leaders questioning whether holding on to the corridor is worth the escalating toll on Israeli lives. But Netanyahu is not entirely alone. Mossad director David Barnea reportedly extended his support to Netanyahu's position, arguing that maintaining control of the Philadelphi Corridor is crucial to Israel's long-term security. For Netanyahu, the decision is seemingly agonizing. Netanyahu is balancing Israel's immediate security needs with the desperate pleas of families who just want their loved ones home. And with every hostage death, the stakes rise. The dilemma deepens. Is holding on to this narrow stretch of land worth the human cost? The Philadelphi Corridor, once seen as a key to Israel's security, has now become a symbol of Netanyahu's most pressing crisis. As more hostages die and negotiations stall, the question of whether Israel's military gains are worth the growing national pain remains unanswered.